Norma and her parents are going to Great Uncle Frank's funeral. For Norma, it's a day off school and a chance to see her favorite cousin, Ray. But when she arrives at the church, she is confronted with rituals and ideas that have never occurred to her before. While not all questions can be answered, when the day is over, Norma is certain of one thing. This sensitive and life-affirming story will lead young readers to ask their own questions about life, death, and how we remember those who have gone before us.
Oh, hi, boys and girls. Well, today's storybook is called The Funeral. It's written and illustrated by Matt James. Stick around and I'll read it to you. Oh, that's right, boys and girls. When you see this, that means there's a question coming. So pay attention to the story and see if you know the answer. No school for Norma, said Norma, putting on her mother's shoe. A few days earlier, there had been a phone call. Her great Uncle Frank had died, and today was for saying goodbye.
Norma was practicing her sad face in the mirror of her parents' room, though she was, in fact, pretty happy. It was a day off from school, and she would be spending it with her cousin Ray, her favorite cousin Ray. There was a little flag on the car that drove them to the church. Norma tried to sound out the word printed on it. N, she said. And then she said it again.
The big black cars moved slowly through town. Norma rolled her window down. Then she rolled it back up again. Up, down, up, down, up, down, until her dad pressed the button that took her window privileges away.
Mom, Uncle Frank was really old, right? In the parking lot, her mother put 1,000,000 Kleenexes in her purse and checked her makeup. Norma! She heard Ray from across the parking lot. Norma! Norma! The funeral was about to begin, and into the church they went. As he took his seat in the row ahead, Ray passed Norma his giraffe. It was wet with slobber. Gross, she whispered to Ray, who didn't hear her. Norma loved her mother's purse. She put her face right into it and breathed deeply, the smell a mix of toothpaste and makeup and sweet warm leather, different from the old book smell of the church.
It's question time. What was Norma doing when she was inside the car? When her father took away her window privileges.
Norma liked the feeling she got sitting there, as invisible dust appeared and was trapped, dancing in beams of light. And oh, how long they sat on those hard seats, with all that talk about God and souls, and not very much talk about Uncle Frank. Ray climbed and fidgeted the whole time and kept studying the hairy ear of the man next to him. Twice, he made his mom take him downstairs to the bathroom. There was an organist who looked about 100 years old. She played a swirling song, and people in the front row began to move out of the church. Ray turned around to Norma and whispered, "Is Uncle Frank still a person?" Then they all went to the little building next door to the church for refreshments. There were tables piled with little triangle sandwiches. Ray and Norma tried a few. There was also a table covered with framed pictures. They were of Uncle Frank. Norma thought of him in the coffin, under those flowers. Their parents seemed happy when the two of them slipped outside. Out back, The church towered over them, and it felt to Norma as though it might fall off the ground and fly away in the heat of the afternoon. The two cousins climbed up to a little graveyard. They read the names on the stones. They found a little pond and looked for frogs and fish and things.
Remember when Ray and Norma had a few of these sandwiches? Good. Well, do you remember what shape these sandwiches were?
Norma found a nice feather and showed it to Ray. Ray found a stick that he liked and showed it to Norma. "No, no, no," said Norma in her mother's voice. "Sticks are not toys. You'll get hurt." Ray cried when she took his stick, but then she wrote his name in the mud, and he liked that. Before long, Ray had to go to the bathroom again, and they went back inside. Just before they left to go home, Norma stopped at a huge bouquet of flowers. In the center was a photo of Uncle Frank, who was smiling right at her.
Mom, I think Uncle Frank would have liked his funeral. Ray showed something to Norma, and Norma got a little bit upset. She told him it wasn't a toy. Do you remember what that was? Okay, boys and girls, so it's now your turn to let me know what your favorite part of the book was. Oh, cool. There's Ray and Norma. So be sure to comment. Have your mom and dad help you if you need to. Let me know what you liked. Thanks. Until next time. Bye, guys.